Hey everybody, Jim Midnight Road Garage. Today I'm working on the 79 Camaro LS swap. So I gotta be truthful with you guys. This is not my favorite time of year. I am very unmotivated and don't feel like doing anything. And that's just the way it is. Every year, same thing. We get to November and I really don't want to do jack shit. So I have to find ways to motivate myself. Today I have a simple goal. I just want to get it to crank. So I don't care about any of the other wiring. I'm not trying to get it to start, not trying to get it to do anything other than crank. So let me show you what we're looking at. So this wiring harness right here is the Camaro engine wiring harness. And what you would normally use with a 350 that would have come with this particular Camaro, the 79 Camaro. I don't have the wiring diagram in front of me, but having worked on many Chevrolets of this era, these are your starter wires right here. This one obviously goes on the big pole on the starter, and this goes on the little one. And as when you turn the key, this energizes the solenoid, which it makes the starter crank, which makes the engine go vroom, vroom, vroom. So these have to be hooked up to the LS starter. In addition to that, here is our LS swap harness. And it has, according to the wiring diagram, these two also need to be hooked to the big pole on the starter. So we need to wire those in. And while we're at it, we also have this guy, which I believe is a crank sensor that needs to be plugged in while I'm underneath the car. I'll route it down near the starter and plug this in as well. I need to get those connected. So another wire I'm going to hook up while I'm at it is going to be this alternator wire. Obviously I won't be hooking this up because it's, as you can see, it's actually already connected to the LS swap wiring harness, so it's not going to use this. But this does feed some power into the rest of the car, so it's going to need to be hooked up as well. So because of the differences between a small block Chevy and an LS engine and just the physical differences, this wire to the alternator hopefully is not going to end up being too short. What I'm going to do first is run these starter wires down and then pull the harness back this way to see if I can pull this back across over here and it won't look like complete crap. It's probably going to, but I'm okay with that. So let me get started on this, and I will get back to you guys shortly. As I said before, when talking about this particular swap, I'm really just trying to get it done, get it started, get it running, and, you know, prove to myself that I can do it. I mean, I already know I can do it. It's just a matter of getting it done. So that's what I'm doing. I don't really care much what it looks like to begin with. I can sort that out later. Maybe. So underneath the car, looking at the starter, which I may or may not take out. I can probably reach over the top and wire it. When we're talking about project cars and doing LS swaps and things like that, I probably should have started with one of my other cars that had a running engine in it, or just had an engine in it. It could be one blown up engine, but instead I chose this car, which when I bought it, of course, the front clip was off it. You know, the guy had done some work to it. But it's at times like this, when I'm underneath the car, I'm trying to get this, LS engine in, and I see things like this. The control arm bolts are not tight. Those aren't. And then the ones on the passenger side aren't either. Hindsight, of course, is 20/20, but I should have started with a car that was complete and just needed an engine and transmission, and already had one in it that was just bad, and that would have been a lot easier. I feel like I probably would have been done already. I've had to piece back together a lot of this. The core support wasn't on here. All the bolts were gone. I had to order bolts. And yeah, I mean, again, fortunately, I've worked on lots and lots and lots of F bodies, A bodies, just old old GMs, so a lot of them are very similar. So it's not too difficult for me to figure out where things go, even without a manual. I mean, with a manual, of course, it's very easy. But yeah, it also doesn't no shocks. No shocks. Oh, look at that! It's missing the sway bar links are gone. At least the sway bar is there. So I don't know what was going on here, whether or not he was replacing the control arms. I have no idea. But yeah, start with a more complete car. Take my advice on that. Start with a more complete car. You'll be better off. Also, things you do notice, like the transmission cooler lines as they are right now, way too close to the headers. So I will have to address that while I'm down here. Nice thing about modern technology, or well, you don't even need modern technology, but I have my cell phone with me. I have a little notepad app on my phone, so I am taking notes of things that I'm seeing wrong while I'm down here. I may not have noticed before, to make sure that I get this stuff taken care of before I start it, move it. These things, obviously, this can be very dangerous. So yeah, good idea to have your cell phone handy when you're working on project cars and make notes of things that you might forget about if you're not working on the car every day. All right, back to the starter. Like most project car stuff, this one turned into a shit show pretty quick. So I was taking off the little tiny 8mm nut off the starter solenoid. It broke. So time to order a new starter. But that's okay, because while I was down there, I did realize that I also need to order a new dipstick for the oil pan and get an oil filter as well for this oil pan, because I did swap the oil pan out when I put this engine in here. And then it also occurred to me that we haven't really talked about this car. I mean, I have talked about it in a couple of videos, and I've talked about it enough that some of you have made comments about it. So I guess it's time I do a walk around on the 79 Camaro. So here's my 1979 Z28 Camaro. It is an actual Z28. One of my earlier videos on this car, when I was doing a fuel tank swap, I did find the original build sheet, and it's definitely a Z28, which I already knew anyway, but it's kind of cool to find that and see it. I am doing an LS swap on it. When I got this car, the front clip wasn't on it, no core support, all that stuff. It was just kind of a shell. Here in Virginia, I don't know, sometimes I hear people say, oh, Southern cars, they're the way to go. California cars, Arizona cars, blah, blah, blah. Well, let me just tell you, Virginia cars are typically rust buckets. Now, they're not rusty like, streets of Chicago rusty, but they typically, these older cars have floor pan issues. They have lots of rust down at the bottom of the fenders, quarters, typical rust. This one did not, which was why I really wanted this car. And it was cheap. This rolling shell only cost me, I want to say $600, and it was really good buy for what this car is. You can see there's pretty much no rust. It had some holes, some small rust holes in the floor pan, but the previous owner, the guy who had taken it all apart, he had already patched all of those holes, so I didn't have to do anything to the floor pan, which is nice because I'm not a very good welder. As you can see, this one of the other reasons I really wanted this car is it's a T-top car. I love T-tops. I know you guys that really are super into racing would never own a T-top car because they twist too much. But, well, I like T-tops, so T-tops it is. So this is the 6-liter engine out of a 2003 2500 pickup truck that I used to have as a 2-wheel drive. So in addition to the 6-liter, it also has the 4L80E transmission. The installation kit I bought for this came from BRP Hot Rods. I want to say. And it came with pretty much everything. The headers, the transmission cross member, the motor mounts. I didn't want to have to screw around with trying to make engine mounts work, and I didn't have to with that, so it pretty much went right in. The wiring harness I'm using for the LS came from Amazon, and it's brand new, super long, really nice. I had to email them about something, and they emailed me right back, so that was good. I had to put a new front wiring harness on it because, again, as a project car, it was missing. Had no front wiring harness, so unfortunately I had to buy new front wiring harness, both of them. This is maybe an Amazon radiator. Maybe I got it off eBay. I'm not sure where I got it. But as you can see, it's got 2 fans. It's aluminum. Should do the trick. This is, completely stock, so nothing special. So this radiator should be fine for it. We'll find out. Already had the ECM unlocked, bats removed, all that good shit. So shouldn't be a problem there. Currently I have 17-inch rims on it. The front is 245, 45, 17s, and the back is 275, 40, 17s. So they fit nicely. These are 17 by 9 on the back and 17 by 8 on the front. So the hood I'm using is this aftermarket fiberglass LED8 hood. This came from a parts car that I had for a while, and I kept the hood to use with this project. I'm also using the nose from this particular car. If you look, it's actually right here. You can see this lower lip is completely different. It's actually fiberglass. It was an aftermarket piece. So they're very, I'm going to use the term loosely, rare. It was an aftermarket styling kit, and I'm sure there were not very many of them sold. You'll have to see it when it's on it to understand how it's different than your standard 79Z front end. Well, so there you have it, y'all. I tried to make some progress on it today, but as usual, the progress ended up being a shopping list. So let me get some parts ordered, but meanwhile, you guys can like, subscribe, and comment, and let me know what you think about the car, or what do you think I should do with it. Should I just drop it off a cliff? I'm not going to do that. But, you know how it goes. It's a project car. I'll see y'all down the road.